Hey everyone, welcome to the Wilson Homestead. So I'm here in the grow room and I am having some issues. I am having issues with my tomato plants. This is the second year that I have been going through this, and I have it narrowed down to a few things of what I think the problem might be. I'm just not sure what's going on. There's three things that it might be, and I don't know which one it is. But this year wasn't a total loss. I did manage to save some of my plants. I'll show you the wreckage here in a minute, but I just kind of want to let you know what I think the problems might be. Number one, it could be my soil that I'm using. Well, it's not really soil, it's soilless mix. My Pro Mix, I don't know if that's the problem, and that I'm not, because it doesn't have any feed in it, so I don't know if it's the lack of fertilizer and I don't feed them soon enough. That could be one problem. Problem number two could be that tomatoes are sensitive to being under lights 24/7, because these lights I did not have on timers until recently, and so they were getting light 24/7. Everything else did fine, but the tomatoes were struggling in this situation. So I don't know if they're sensitive, that they need a dark period. Like, people say that all plants need that, but I have found that peppers don't mind to be under grow lights 24/7. Most of the flowers and herbs and everything else that I've grown, they didn't mind it either. It's just the tomato plants that I had a problem with. And number three, I started my tomatoes in the little tiny cells. I don't know if they're 72s or even smaller than that, but I only have, I work a full-time job too, so I only had time to water once a day, and I don't know if they were getting too dried out before I was watering them again, so that could have been another problem. But so I am trying to correct every single thing that I think is wrong. So I have put timers on my lights. They are only on for 16 hours a day now, so they have a dark time. And oh, I even switched water, because we have a spring on our property, so I have been getting going down over the hill, and I have all these jugs of water in here, because I'm only using spring water now. I'm not using city water. That's what I was using on them before. And let's see, I bought new Pro Mix. It's a different kind, and I started some new seedlings because I started some new seeds because I didn't know if I was going to be able to save anything that was looking so bad before. So I started a whole new batch of tomato plants, and I started them in bigger containers, so that way they would not dry out as fast, and the fluctuation of being dry and then being really wet wouldn't be so bad. So we'll see if this helps. I don't know. I'm almost ready to give up on tomato plants. So fingers crossed that some of these remedies work, and I can, I'm pretty hopeful at this point that I will have some tomato plants, and I might even have extra tomato plants if the new ones that I started, I'm getting ready to pot them up right now, and they all look pretty good. So I'm guessing that everything's going to be fine. I'm just going to have some plants that are a little bit farther behind than what I normally would be right now. And that's fine, because, I might not get my plants out until the end of May or the beginning of June, so I still have plenty of time to get this stuff done. And like I said, they're at the point right now of being potted up. So let's just take a look around at everything here in the grow room so you can see what's going on. Okay, here are all of the new tomato plants that I started. And I used this little handy tray to start most of them. It has 9 cells in it, and so I just put 5 or 6 seeds in each cell, but you can see these are pretty deep cells. They aren't going to dry out overnight, so I don't have to worry about the fluctuation in water, and these look a lot better. So that could have been the whole problem, because this is actually the same soil that I used to start the other ones. we didn't get the new soil until after I restarted all these seedlings. This is the new soil that we got. It's ProMix 2, but it says vegetable and herbs. I don't know if that'll make a difference, really. I'm leaning towards that's not the problem. But anyway, back to these new seedlings. They're all looking really good. And my husband, he was down here hanging out with me one day whenever I was potting up a bunch of stuff. And he was just sitting in here and he's like, well, what can I plant? Let me plant some seeds. And I said, well, start some more tomato seeds. And he's like, okay. And I said, but make sure you start something that I haven't already started. So he chose white cherry. So we have some of those here. I've never had that variety before, so that'll be exciting to try. I have grown, I think it was Great White, which is a slicer instead of a cherry tomato. And like I wasn't too tore up about it, but Joey liked it. I like my tomatoes to have more of a kick to them. But anyway, so we'll have some white cherries for him. But all of these other ones are looking pretty good. I'm going to pot these up so that way they have a space to grow. And a lot of these already look better than some of the poor tomato plants that I tried to save. But let me show you everything else. Here they are. There's a lot of carnage in here. I mean, this looks terrible. But some of them made it. See, some of these are doing really well now, despite all of the problems that I caused for them. But then we've got a few little dinky ones, and then we have ones that completely died. And this one looks pretty good. This one, it is pretty stunted, but it might pull through. And then down here I've got more under these crazy lights. I don't even know if you can see in here. I hate these lights for filming. Hold on, let me see if this helps. I have a flashlight in here. Does that help? Yeah, here we go. You can see carnage in here too, but a lot of bigger plants here. So it's not a total loss, but I would say that I lost more than half of what I started, which is a huge bummer. But it's better than last year, because last year I had to go to the greenhouse and buy my tomatoes. Okay, so I killed an entire flat, and all of this. This isn't a flat, this is an old drawer out of a plastic drawer container. But anyway, what I have left is one flat plus these of the original tomatoes. And now I'm going to start potting up the new ones. I do have one exciting development here. I was getting ready to transplant these columbine seedlings into a cup of their own so they can grow on. And I also planted half of this little mushroom container with snowdrop seeds. My Uncle Jeff gave me these seeds. I think he got them from one of his friends. I planted them March the 4th. And it is now May 2nd, so I thought, okay, they're probably not going to do anything. But I was getting ready to transplant these columbine seedlings, and guess what? These snowdrop seeds are germinating now. This is so exciting. I didn't think they were going to do anything, but it took them almost 2 months to germinate. So if you have these and you gave up on them, maybe you should have just given them a little more time. How cool is that? So the heck of it is that I can grow things. I don't know what's going on these past couple years. I've never had a whole lot of problems with growing anything before, and all of my other plants These are marigolds that are thriving. These coleus are looking great. Most of them are black dragon, and I did have some variation in the seeds that I planted. Some of them have green striping on them, and they're a lot larger, so I'm guessing that they crossed with something that I had planted last year. And I have a green and red one there in the back. These are my Prairie Sun Rudbeckia. All of them are doing really well. You can see the root development in these. That's why it's fun to use clear cups, because you can see what's going on down in there. I've got several columbines here that are doing pretty good. There's a few that are still tiny. I've got 3 pineapple ground cherries here that they're really slow to grow. Like, you have to give them some time because they take forever. But they're starting to get some size on them now, so by the time that I can put them out in the garden, they'll be pretty sizable, probably at least twice the size that they are now. I have several different kinds of flowers in this flat down here. I have alyssum, I have globe amaranth, I have a stray columbine right there, and then I have some more Rudbeckia and columbine here. And last up, here are my pepper plants. I didn't treat any of these plants any differently than I did the tomatoes. So I'm like, tomatoes, what's your problem? Like, I need to know what your problem is. But anyway, these peppers are gorgeous. This light is up as far as it can go, and they are pretty much about an inch from it. So I'm going to have to move these pretty soon, either to a place where I can put a light up higher on them, or I can get them outside. Hopefully in the next couple weeks they will be able to go outside. I try to wait until the lows at night are consistently above 50 degrees because peppers do not like the cold. Tomatoes can take a little bit of cold, but not a whole lot, but I don't want these peppers to stunt because I have a pretty short growing season anyway, so I don't want to stunt these. Like, I would like to get 2 crops of peppers off of these plants, so hopefully that will happen this year. Alright, that does it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you next time here on the Wilson Homestead. Bye, guys.